Hello. You've probably heard of Karate Online. It's a Roblox game that's trying to replace karate, and at first, it might seem like a cool project. But it isn't, and let me explain why. There are two main things I want to talk about in this video. First, all the stuff Karate Online copied. And second, why we should just keep playing karate and forget Karate Online even exists. Karate Online has been stealing almost everything that made karate unique. From the combat system to how dojos and media work, it's all ripped off. If you check their server, you'll quickly notice how similar everything looks. Of course, they have a tournament system, just like karate. But you know what? We can let that slide. It's not that rare for a fighting game to have official tournaments. Then you see a Karate Online media channel, just like the media channel in karate. Then you keep looking and you find a dojo advertisement and a dojo's channel. At this point, it's clear they didn't even try to change anything. In karate, the dojo system is pretty special. You've got NPC dojos that anyone can join through the game and play your own dojos. To get ownership of a dojo in karate, you have to wait for dojo applications and apply so your dojo can hopefully become official. Once you pass the applications, the Roblox group you use for the dojo gets affiliated with the karate group, and players have to join that group to be in the dojo in-game. That's a pretty unique system, right? Well, guess what? Everything I just mentioned is in Karate Online too. Even on their server, if I go to the announcement channel and scroll up a bit, here's what we can read. If I add 𝗂𝗲𝗏𝗃 and 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗍 as a dojo, do you guys think they will attempt to copyright? I'm trying to ensure 100% Snatch won't try anything. He should know Karate Online will be better than his, so he will attempt anything. What? I don't think I have to say this reasoning is stupid. Regardless of the incorrect grammar, you can clearly see here that DK, one of the Karate Online owners, is admitting they're copying karate. Snatch is the former owner of karate. But what's even more stupid is that the thing they're mentioning isn't even what matters. I mean, it's not like karate created 𝗂𝗲𝗏𝗃 or 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗍. They don't own those. So instead of saying they could copyright us for adding 𝗂𝗲𝗏𝗃 and 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗍, they could have said they could copyright us for copying the whole dojo system and 90% of what there is in our game. What they copied goes from small stuff like the names of the staff roles, event staff, and support staff, exactly like in the karate server. And don't start saying support staff is common, because it isn't. To major stuff like the combat system itself, which is literally the most important thing in the whole game. They could have made different moves or mechanics, but nope. Same as karate. One left kick, one right kick, one punch, one block. You get knocked if you get hit without blocking. Literally a copy-paste. Even the number of rounds you could choose from is the same. Now at the moment I'm writing this part of the script, Karate Online is supposed to be released today. I checked the activity of one of the owners and asked what they were doing. They said they were testing. What kind of game still has testing to do on the release date? There's a lot more I could mention. For example, if you check the rules channel, you'll see this. They say they can't moderate languages other than English. So what do? They make a channel where you're allowed to speak other languages. The game is a bunch of nonsense. And yet they dare to criticize karate, the game they took everything from. I'm writing this part of the video 15 minutes after the game was released. And yeah, there are some bugs which are expected for a game in beta, like the stance button not working, lighting issues making text nearly impossible to read, and no controller support. But what was most obvious to me was the karate inspiration. Actually, it's more than just inspiration at this point. I started by trying to fight someone. The first thing I see when stepping on a mat is a pretty good UI asking you to choose the number of rounds. Same as in karate, like I said. Unlike in karate, you had to ready up after choosing the rounds. But I was stuck in stance and couldn't move my cursor until it randomly worked. But hey, at least I could play, right? I hit my opponent several times, and absolutely nothing happened. No clash, no stun, nothing. You can't even blame hitboxes, because my punches were literally going through my opponent's avatar. Once the fight was done, I checked the map. I don't really have anything to say about it. It looks neat, sure, but it definitely doesn't help with the lag, which is super important for this type of game. Of course, just like in karate, you can find a style vendor and a title vendor. At least they changed the names of the vendors. I'll give them that. Then you leave the main building, and what do you see on the left? The quest board. Surprisingly, like in karate, A few minutes after the release, we hear a Karate Online staff member say,
All right, guys, speed run. Let's see how long it takes for Karate to DMCA us. Okay. Someone keep track.
I kept going and found what seems to be a free-for-all arena. Again, just like in karate. After that, I decided I'd seen enough and left the game. Later, I noticed administrators from karate all got banned, just for being administrators there. What reason did they put? Karate-ke. What does that even mean? Quoting 𝗬𝗍𝗃, a karate admin, there are people complaining because they got scammed when buying styles. Now here's why we really shouldn't be playing karate online. There are tons of games that copy or are heavily inspired by others. I could mention ability wars with slap battles, or even outside of Roblox, 𝗀𝗲𝗃𝗰𝗍𝗃 copying Genshin Impact. But even if 𝗀𝗲𝗃𝗰𝗍 is almost a Genshin copy-paste, at least they aren't trashing the game they took everything from. There's a screenshot from a Karate Online head moderator saying karate sucks. As this other guy said, the whole Karate Online community comes from karate. Just like the whole Karate Online game. You could at least be grateful. They took everything from karate and didn't even bother putting credits or anything. It's just mad disrespect to the developers of karate. Now I can't and won't stop you from playing Karate Online if you want to. But personally, I don't want to support that kind of game. If I had to summarize this whole video in one sentence, I'd say that while Karate Online had potential and could have become an interesting project, stealing everything from karate just made it trash.